Horizon Gents, home to CG Reaction, and well, today's been terrible day. The cyclone or hurricane, depending on where you live, whatever, Taute hit where I'm living, I guess. In more than 20 years, I can remember, I've never experienced something like this here. So this was kind of an odd thing to happen where I live. And obviously, the power grids and things are not prepared for that because things like this never happen here. So there was a lots of low voltage, high voltage situation, and power was almost, it makes no difference, was not here. So it was really annoying day. But yeah, it's all gone now, so it's fine. Taute basically just means gecko, the Myanmar word for it, I guess. Yeah. So this was a cyclone. Cyclone hurricane is I guess it's the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, just depending where you live. It wasn't that strong, I guess, 110 kilometers per hour, 65 mile per hour, whatever. So yeah, but the winds that were flowing here, and it just felt really weird to see that. And that was not even that high speed of a wind. Then I realized, wait a minute, people with F5 and category F3 even, F3, F5 category hurricanes in US and everywhere. Damn, that would be so frightening to see that. So yeah, this is Miscellaneous Myths, Sekhmet, the Eye of Ra by the channel Oli Sarcastic production. Sure, you probably gotten angry before, but have you ever gotten gouge out your own eye and turn it into a monstrous goddess of vengeance angry? What? Odds are low, I think. The moral of the story is respect the elderly. If possible of failing that, simply remove the concept of age. What you talking about? Really, that's how the story is gonna go? This is about the Egyptian god. I played the Assassin's Creed Origins, and I don't know, just the way it was made, just the way storyline was, I don't know, just the way it all was, just everything, just pieces fit perfectly in a way for me. That was really immersive game experience for me, and the gods in that game was presented in a way that was really, I don't know, Titanic, I guess. There was a developer events where these gods, Egyptian gods, you're supposed to fight them. These are titanic creatures in some desert you're supposed to fight. I know that's not part of the real story, but still that image fit into my mind. And then in the real storyline, you sometimes fight some kind of god type creature, big snakes and things. So Egyptian gods were shown in that game as these titanic creatures. So in my mind, whenever I see any mention of Egyptian god, it's just that mentality, like, oh shit. I'm really fascinated by them. So yeah, Sekhmet, I think that's the that lioness type of thing. Not even getting armor of that in the game. So yeah, something like that. But I don't know much about that. I really have no idea about mythology of that. So this is gonna be a fun video. So yeah, let's watch this one. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction day. There's a link in the description. Check out the household playlists like Oli Sarcastic production, Inter Historian, CGP Grey, Tears 2, Real Life Lore. And yeah, let's watch this one.
There are basically 5 pieces of recognizable recurring imagery from ancient Egypt. The pyramids, the Sphinx, the Pharaoh's death mask, the Ankh, and the Eye of Ra. Only one of those feels like it really needs further explanation. The pyramids and the Sphinx are huge and rad, the death mask is glamorous and we found like a million of them, and the Ankh is a symbol of life and death.
The Eye of Ra, oh yeah, okay. I'm like, where have I seen that before? But yeah, that was the logo of the game. But yeah. For me, it was so epic for the one reason. Like, the game is set 2,000 years ago, and even there, the pyramids are apparently 2,500 years old still. So, for us, it's 4,500 year old pyramid. So, the civilization is really ancient, so it was just fun to play that game.
Death that shows up near basically every god and pharaoh ever. But why is the Eye of Ra such a big deal? The sun disk of Ra shows up pretty frequently, and that makes sense because he's a sun god, but why his eye specifically? Well, turns out there's actually a myth about this. Crazy, right? See, back in the old days, the Egyptian gods were sort of mortal. Like they were gods, but they had mortal forms, meaning they could age and theoretically die. And in these days, the sun god Ra was the big man in charge. But over the centuries, Ra started getting old. More specifically, he started going senile. He was still head god, but the mortal population stopped respecting him so much, mostly because he was acting, senile. Osiris tries to help him, but Ra is the king god, and he kinda refuses to listen to anybody, and meanwhile, also forgets to tend the world he's supposed to be ruling. Humanity suffers and stops worshipping Ra as a result. Ra doesn't notice it first, but eventually he catches wind of the fact that he's lost the respect of humanity, mostly because as a result of the loss of his temples and his worship, he has lost most of his godly power. So he gets really pissy, but because he's, powerless, he can't really
Isn't that same thing with the Greek mythology? Like you have to be worshipped if you are supposed to have powers or something. I don't know where I heard that or read that. I don't remember. But if the Greek gods, the Olympians, if they don't get worshipped, they loses their power or something. So that's the same thing with the Egyptian god, huh?
Do anything about it. So he goes to his dad, this primordial being named Nun that's basically the vastness of space, which, fun fact, the Egyptians thought of as a giant ocean. So he asks his father for advice on how to take revenge. Nun tells him to sit on his throne and take out his eye, so he does, and the eye immediately transforms into a terrifying lion goddess bent on ravaging humanity for the crime of disrespecting her dad. So Ra names her Sekhmet and sends her on her way to do the vengeance thing. So Sekhmet starts ripping humanity a collective new one, which kind of freaks out the other gods, so Osiris and friends go to Ra and ask him to make her stop. Ra feels kind of bad, so he asks Sekhmet to dial back the murder a little, and Sekhmet's like,
"Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know my illustrious father was such a giant baby."
and continues murdering everybody. So Ra decides he has to put a stop to this, and assembles the surviving humans.
Wait a minute. Is Ra Sekhmet's father? Or just, Sekhmet is Ra's eye? I mean,
Along with the other gods, and together they assemble a plan. So they make this potion that's basically 90% booze, 10% human blood, and leave it out for Sekhmet, who drinks all of it and then passes out. While she's asleep, Ra pulls out some of her godly essence and weaves it into a new goddess, either Bast or Hathor. Sources kind of vary on this one. So when Sekhmet wakes up, she's kind of different on account of missing a chunk of her essence, and she's still a terrifying war goddess, but she's kind of been mellowed into only fighting and killing for the sake of protecting stuff, rather than just raw funsies. Everyone has a laugh, and Ra decides it's probably time to retire from the mortal lifestyle, abandoning his quasi-mortality and retiring to his sun boat forever, subsequently paving the way for Osiris to take the throne, which, as we all know, worked out great. She'll only come out at night.
damn. So that's how. I didn't see this coming, man. So this is literally a story like that. I mean, there's a god who just basically ape shit, and I guess takes the sun with him or something. People start to hate him, so he literally takes revenge on them by unleashing a beast type thing called Sekhmet, and then it goes a bit too out of hand, so he literally, I don't know, in a way splits her in two, I guess, because there are now two of them now. Damn, that is some story, isn't it? I mean, there will be time that somebody probably thought of that. I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, they're trying to put out the message like respect your elderly or something. I mean, this is such a weird story. I prefer the version where Sekhmet's separate essence becomes Bast. Well, I guess that's the second being, right?
The lean and hungry type, nothing is new, I've seen her here
It feels more thematically appropriate if the end result is two cat lady gods, yeah.
before, watching and waiting. Ooh, she's
Ra himself has his own continuing adventure after dropping his mortal form. Yeah, I guess that's the next video in the suggestion. Miscellaneous, the journey of Ra, I guess.
sitting with you, but her eyes are on the door.
His journey through the sky and underworld is a surprising, thrilling tale and very rigidly structured. Okay.
Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. Oh,
For example, exactly 7 hours in is when they fight the giant snake with another giant snake. Yup.
here she comes. She's a man-eater. Oh, here she comes.
It's totally possible that there's additional symbolism surrounding the Eye of Ra that I'm just unfamiliar with, but as far as I know, this is the big one.
Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. Oh,
Yeah.
here she
But, I didn't see this coming, Egyptian god story being like this, a god goes basically senile and get pissed off at humanity, starts to kill them, and then it goes out of hand. So, it splits that beast into two, I guess, Sekhmet into two, Sekhmet and Bast or whatever. And then he goes into journey apparently, and then fights snakes with snake. Yeah, the journey of Ra is going to be fun. Alright people, that was Miscellaneous Sekhmet, the Eye of Ra. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, check out the reaction date, there's a link in the description, check out the cast playlist, check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.